Now that we've spent some time talking about the various disorders, let's turn our attention to some of the theories behind the psychopathology. We'll start off with what was really an old original viewpoint, which was the supernatural perspective. Historically, people believed that there were spiritual forces that were behind people's conditions. Maybe it was black magic or being possessed by the devil or by spirits. And this viewpoint led people to take pretty drastic measures to treat people with disorders. So they may perform exorcisms and bring priests into the room along with various elements to exorcise the devil. Or when there was believed to be witches, they would take these individuals and perform the witch test, which would be when they would dunk them in a body of water tied to some type of a heavy block of brick to their leg, and if it was actually called the float test. If they would float up to the surface, then that would be a sign that they were a witch, in which case they would kill the person. And if they didn't float up to the top of the water, well, that's good. Now we know they're not a witch, but unfortunately the person likely would have died as well. So you can understand how these were very inhumane practices and not efficient at all in really treating people for their conditions. Over time, as time passed, the biological perspective became one that garnered a lot more attention and support. We're talking about genetics, chemical imbalances in neurotransmitters like dopamine or serotonin or norepinephrine that we've alluded to. There could be problems in brain structures, whether it be, for example, people with ADHD are said to have a smaller frontal lobe. So these are some of the biological perspectives that are taken, and they lead to treatments that are biologically based, but we'll get to that in a moment. Another theory that we've alluded to or addressed very specifically in previous submodules is the diathesis stress model. The diathesis stress model again states that I have a predisposition, maybe it's a genetic predisposition, and when a stressor in my environment peaks, then that predisposition is triggered, and that ability or capacity for such a disorder kind of unfolds in crude terms. So this integrates biological and psychosocial factors in order to explain the outflow of disorders. There, of course, are other perspectives, including the behaviorist perspective, which talks about the relationship between learning and how I learn things in my environment, such as what Pavlov taught us. The cognitive perspective, which we alluded to earlier as well with Aaron Beck's work, which talks about my cognitions or my perceptions playing a role in the advent or the root of certain disorders. And there's also the evolutionary theories, which say that a lot of our disorders may stem from evolution pre-programming. So phobias may be there because it helped me to survive, to have a fear of a saber-toothed tiger, and now that translated to having a fear of dogs, or I used to be afraid of heights because that was dangerous for me to be in high places as a Neanderthal, but today in an elevator, even though it may be safe, I still have this underpinning of a fear, and so the evolutionary theory would refer to that. So that covers a number of different theories behind psychopathology. We have just about one more submodule to go, so we'll get to that in just a moment.